Hello, everyone. This is Scribe, and joining me, as always, is the cantankerous cripple, Monkey,
Hi, guys.
and the dark ginger sullen seductress, SDA.
Hi,
Let's see. So, how is everybody this evening so far?
I'm good.
My meds are kicking in. I'm good.
Yeah, you did pretty good last night, all things considered. Or at least verbally speaking, you sounded like you were up and around.
I've only earlier today I lost my ability to speak for just a little while. We'll see how it goes tonight.
What do you mean? Like you just couldn't talk?
My words kept coming out wrong.
Oh, like every other stream. Okay.
Yes. Only in a row instead of just like one fucking word here and there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything we want to cover ahead of time before we get to the schnews?
Yes. I would like to talk about Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies. And guys, if you could hit the like button, that would really help us out.
Yes, that's that too.
That's all I had.
SDA, anything?
Nope.
She's short and sweet tonight.
Hey. Oh, look at her. She's so cute. Oh, she's smiling too. Oh my God. Could this be a Friday?
Oh, it is Friday, isn't it?
It is Friday, indeed.
You know, I don't know what day it is anymore unless I have to. Just because I don't go to work, so I don't keep track. Just
well,
saying.
If you don't have to, I guess why would you want to?
Well, sometimes it comes in handy.
Mm-hmm.
But,
all right.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. So news-wise, we, of course, have to start with the latest on Trump, because
Yay.
Trump. Yay.
Yay.
There's not much in the world of Trump, except for that some new financial information has come to light.
Ooh.
Trump reports hundreds of millions in income. News at 11, like this was some kind of surprise since he's a billionaire. President Trump reported hundreds of millions of dollars in income Friday in financial disclosure forms that shed more light on his vast business holdings. At his golf courses alone, Trump reported $288 million in income in the past year. That includes $19.8 million from his club in Bedminster, New Jersey, where he has spent some weekends as president. This all comes from a financial statement that isn't a tax return. It's just here's a report on his income or what his businesses make. Let's see. The form released by the Office of Government Ethics reflects the president's investments, other assets, income, retirement accounts, and other holdings. It is different from a federal tax return, which Trump has refused to make public and which would reveal much more about his business and financial dealings, including foreign business ties, both direct and indirect.
No, I was gonna say, so the rich guy made money.
Yeah, it's like big, and this is CNN's front page story right now. This is their top link. Oh my God, a billionaire makes money from his businesses.
Wow.
They are reaching for anything.
Scribe, the screen is locked on me.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
What?
Oh, well, okay. I just thought, since there's not much to look at in the realm of either me or Monkey, I figured I'd make you the star of the show. But okay, never mind.
She gets self-conscious.
That's true. Okay. It must be the braid.
It's the braid.
Yeah.
She's ignoring us again.
Yeah, no, she's looking down at her texting to her boyfriend again.
Actually, now I'm texting Bay.
Oh, now you're texting Bay.
I was just scrolling through Twitter a few minutes ago, Monkey.
Oh, okay.
Do you feel better?
No, because I think you're lying. I think there's a special man in your life, and you won't tell us about him.
There's not.
Okay. Yeah. So aside from that, I wanted to ask real quick because maybe I've forgotten. I was thinking about this on the way home from work today. What is it exactly, if I've missed it, that Trump has supposedly done in collusion with the Russians that justifies the investigation? What is the allegation?
I think the allegation is just that they said things, right?
It's that they coordinated the hacking
Oh, with the WikiLeaks stuff and the emails.
Yep.
Oh,
That's the allegation.
That's the allegation.
Okay. And after, better part of a year, nothing's come out to prove that.
Exactly.
Okay. I just wanted to reiterate to make sure that I understood what we're wasting all this time and taxpayer money on. And also, and the other thing too, and I was thinking about this too today, is that when frivolous or unfounded investigations like this happen, and if there's something to it, of course it has to be looked into. But after a year, the reason I worry about it is because I think back to Clinton. And if I'm remembering correctly, and by all means, if somebody knows otherwise, please correct me. But if I'm remembering correctly, one of the reasons that Clinton, near the end of his presidency, didn't order a missile strike on a camp that might have taken out Osama bin Laden was because of the fear that doing so would be seen as some sort of cover for the Monica scandal.
Well, I don't know if that was actually ever said, but I could see it because we did have the aspirin factory he blew up.
Yeah.
Which in that case, he was absolutely wrong to order that strike.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no doubt he ordered that strike because of what the front page news was.
Right.
However, I don't think he knew it was an aspirin factory.
No.
I think he went with bad intelligence, hoping that it was right rather than going through and making sure everything was right.
I just think that if you start weighing down the executive with a bunch of scandal and drama that is unnecessary and unfounded, you actually threaten national security inevitably if they have to start making decisions around that kind of crap.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sanguine.
Absolutely.
Seems more like it is just Russia bad, Trump bad, so they have to be in it together. True. Moon Poon 2, Dark Side of the Poon. I don't know if I really do an ad for that here, but I'll think about it. Falcon Millennial, thank you. Remember Wag the Dog? Yes, Wag the Dog is it was a very prescient movie about how media and such, we're operating then, but also onward into the future. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted you. Apologize.
I don't even remember what I was saying. It was no big deal. I think I was going to read Sanguine's thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Sanguine wants another Moon Poon ad. Falcon, do you have a product? Let me know. We'll figure it out here. Let's see.
For those of you who are wondering what's going on, if you donate to Scribe during the stream, he will personalize an ad for you.
Yes, you have to tell me what your product you want.
Yes, tell him what product you want, and he will get that done for you.
But see, the thing
SDA, could you smile for the camera, please?
Oh yeah, let me focus in on her real quick. There you go.
Oh, don't
Not
do
a smile.
Scribe. What is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong. I was just making sure that you got attention. Don't you like being the center of attention?
No.
Okay.
Yes, you do. Don't mind us.
Well, not when you're like yelling at me to smile.
I'm yelling at you.
Weird.
So what should the plot be for Moon Poon 2?
Because
the first one was the corruption of Crater Valley, the colony on the moon, and it was corrupted by Sir Adamantine and his brothel, his bordello. And then Space Marshal Dirk McGuffin came in to clean up town. So now there's got to be a sequel.
I'm going to be really honest with you. I am too high to remember all that. I'm not kidding. I know you were just talking. I could not repeat anything you just said.
Okay.
Which is going to make our debate fun.
Yeah. Falcon. Okay. Falcon says suicide bicycles with optional high-capacity, fully semi-automatic assault weapons. Okay. I'm thinking like a one-word product. I mean, I give a little leeway to some of you guys, but okay. Murder bikes. Okay. How about this? Coming soon. Moon Poon 2, Dark Side of the Poon. Falcon Millennial and his deadly biker gang of automatic rifle bicycles are rampaging across the dark side of the moon, terrorizing the Moonites. Wasn't it the Moonites from like what's that cartoon show? Oh, fuck, I forget that now.
Don't remember.
I'm blanking on it right now. Anyway, that's my half-hearted attempt at doing another movie trailer. Okay. Anyway, on to other stories. Now I'm gonna save the texting girl one. I should save for the end, right?
Yes, save that for
Okay.
the
All right. I'll
last.
save that for the last. Okay. So the another news story today was the officer who shot Philandro Castile was found not guilty on all counts. And this was in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I'm wondering if we're going to have a protest in the near future over this, but I guess we'll find out. Geronimo, the cop's name is Geronimo. Geronimo Yanez, the Minnesota police officer who fatally shot Philandro Castile during a traffic stop last year, was found not guilty of second-degree manslaughter on Friday. He was also acquitted of 2 counts of intentional discharge of a firearm that endangers safety. Castile's death garnered widespread attention and sparked nationwide protests over the use of force by police after his girlfriend broadcast the shooting's aftermath on Facebook Live. Several members of the Castile family screamed profanities and cried after the verdict was announced, despite warnings from the judge that everyone in the courtroom should remain composed. "Let me go," yelled Castile's mother, Valerie. The families of Castile and Yanez were escorted out of separate courtroom exits. At least 13 officers were present in the small courtroom. Let's see. The jury deliberated for 27 hours and heard 2 weeks of testimony about the July 6 traffic stop in which Yanez pulled over a car driven by Castile, 32, with his girlfriend Diamond Reynolds and her 4-year-old daughter as passengers. An audio recording captured Castile telling Yanez he had a gun in the car and the officer telling Castile not to reach for it. Seconds later, Yanez opened fire. Prosecutors portrayed Yanez as a nervous officer who lost control of his traffic stop. He was too quick to pull the trigger after learning Castile had a gun, based on an unreasonable suspicion that he was a robbery suspect. I'm going to go over the... let's see. So he's going to leave the force. The NAACP criticized the verdict. As hard as this is for some members of our community, we have to accept this verdict. John Choi, Ramsey County attorney, said, it was the product of a fair and impartial investigation, though prosecutorial review and a trial by the panel of Ramsey County residents, their decision must be respected. Yeah.
This is the one that when it happened, everybody was like, "Oh, it's so horrible. Why?" If you listen, this is the one where his girlfriend had the tape after it.
Yeah,
after
she started broadcasting on Facebook right after he was shot, right inside the car. Yeah.
And if you listen to the tape, what she actually says is that he was reaching for it.
Mm-hmm.
She says he was reaching for it, and in that split second, I mean, I feel horrible for everybody involved in this because it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
But if you tell an officer you have a gun, don't move until he tells you to.
Yeah.
Period. Because too many times, I mean, there's videos you can go watch where cops go to the window and bam, they're shot.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I'm sorry the guy died, but he, by her own words, as it was happening, he reached for his gun. And the cop didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion. It was just a shitty situation. So I'm glad he's not going to jail for it.
Yeah. There's no harps or halos here, no winners. It's not.
No.
It's just like.
He's got to live the rest of his life knowing he killed an innocent man.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's going to be worse than any prison term would have been.
Let's see. Was the cop, Quill asked, was the cop wearing a body cam? No, I believe there's an audio recording. I forget where that's from. I think it was either from the dash cam or maybe the officer had a microphone on him or a radio. Yeah. But then there wasn't any visual footage of what happened until after the shooting and the girlfriend started broadcasting.
Yep.
Okay, well, that one aside, and we're holding that one till the end. So now we're kind of into potpourri, just because I only have 2 stories on the potpourri side of things that caught my eye.
Cool. What we got?
So let's see. SDA, your options are, let's see, Ohio Facebook or graduate diversity.
Facebook.
Okay. Ohio school worker on Facebook urges violence against gays.
What?
Police are investigating a Facebook message urging violence against gays and expressing hope that an LGBTQ festival in Ohio's capital city, quote, turns out like the Boston Marathon. WCMH-TV reports that a Columbus City Schools employee posted the message to a page for this weekend's Pride event in Columbus and suggested gays should be killed or relocated. WCMH says it contacted the commenter and he wouldn't explain the message. The school district says it's working with authorities to address inappropriate comments posted from a personal account, yada, yada, yada. Organizers have encouraged participants to ignore any protesters. Oh, great. That's pleasant. That person's probably going to be fired in about 10 seconds.
Yeah. And while I'm all for free speech, you're a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, making
Whoever
a bomb
that
threat.
was,
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
Yeah. Making bomb threats or effectively or implicitly making a bomb threat is not protected speech at that point. It's like, I hope your event turns out like the Boston Marathon. No. Yeah, no.
Fuck you.
Okay, and the last, or the second, I should say, potpourri story. Okay. King compliments Northwestern grads for accepting diversity. Baby boomer and tennis great Billie Jean King had some good things to say about millennials in a speech to Northwestern University graduates. King, on Friday, told the graduates they are, quote, the best generation so far when it comes to inclusion. King was the first prominent female athlete to confirm that she was gay in 1981 after her partner filed a palimony suit. She also blazed a trail for gender equality by defeating Bobby Riggs in the 1973, quote, Battle of the Sexes tennis match. However, pay equality was a major part of her message. She noted that though all of tennis's Grand Slam tournaments have for a decade offered equal prize money for men and women, women still make less on the pro tour than men. She called on men to do their part to change that.
All right, let the women start playing with the men. See how much money they make then.
King was given an honorary doctorate recognizing her work on behalf of the LGBT community. An honorary doctorate, which holds about as much weight as most of the doctorates that are given in that realm of things.
Why do we even give people honorary doctorates?
It's just like a gift, like thanks for showing up and giving a speech, or it's sort of like here's a lifetime achievement award thing from our school so we can pump up the PR and be nice to you. Okay, so now this is the story that I was holding off to the end. So do we want to do this first and then MSS News, or MSS News and then this?
You ready to fight, woman?
All right, let's just do it.
Okay, I'll read the story and then you guys can have it out and I'll just sit back. And while after I read the story and after they begin debating, if anybody wants me to start working on ads for them, now would be a good time to donate because that'll give me some time to cook some things up in the meantime.
Give them some money, y'all.
Judge finds Michelle Carter guilty of manslaughter in texting suicide case. In a case that hinged largely on a teenage couple's intimate text messages, Michelle Carter was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter Friday in the 2014 death of her boyfriend, who poisoned himself by inhaling carbon monoxide in his pickup truck, a Massachusetts judge ruled. Carter's own words, preserved in hundreds of text messages presented as evidence over 6 days of testimony, helped seal her conviction in the death of 18-year-old Conrad Roy III, Bristol County Juvenile Court Judge Lawrence Monitz said during a 15-minute explanation of his rationale. Quote, she admits in text that she did nothing. She did not call the police or Mr. Roy's family after hearing his last breaths during a phone call. And finally, she did not issue a simple additional instruction, get out of the truck. Carter, 20, cried silently as Monitz spoke. She stood to receive the ruling, which could set legal precedent for whether it's a crime to tell someone to commit suicide. Prosecutors had argued that Carter sent Roy numerous text messages urging him to commit suicide, listened over the phone as he suffocated, and failed to alert authorities or his family that he died. The judge agreed. Quote, the court has found that Carter's actions and failure to act where it was her self-created duty to, sorry, this is a weird sentence. The court has found that Carter's actions and failure to act where it was her self-created duty to Roy since she put him in that toxic environment constituted reckless conduct, the judge said. The court finds that the conduct caused the death of Mr. Roy. With Carter standing, Monith said, this court, having reviewed the evidence, finds you guilty on the indictment with involuntary manslaughter. And that's basically it. Then they start going over some of the texts. So,
okay. So let me just go over what I disagree with in this. My problem is not that she got in trouble for not telling somebody that he was about to die. If she knows that that's about to happen and you don't act, then you should be held responsible for that. What I don't think she should be held responsible for is the fact that he killed himself in the first place. Because if you tell somebody to kill themselves, they don't have to do it. There's a block button. He could have gotten out of the car, whether she talked him into staying in the car or not. There was no reason that he had to actually stay in there. He could have gotten out. Now, she knew that he was about to die, and she didn't do anything, and that I think she should be held accountable for. But I think that setting the precedent that if you tell somebody to kill themselves, no matter how many times, no matter how manipulative you are about it, that means that you killed them is ridiculous. And you know, I know that people don't like the slippery slope argument, but slippery meets slope, slope slippery, and this is going to end up with somebody, you know, saying something mean to a feminist and them cutting themselves and then somebody else getting charged with assault or some stupid shit like that. I mean, this is what that sets up for. So if you say that the reasoning behind her being convicted is that she told him to do it and that she somehow put him into that situation over the phone, which isn't fucking possible because you can just hang up the phone and get out of the car. That's on him. Now, again, she didn't tell anybody and didn't take appropriate action to save him, but she's also not the reason why he put himself in a car and gave himself carbon monoxide poisoning in the first place. So that's...
Yeah, my problem is with the whole slippery slope thing, because this is not just somebody saying, kill yourself. This was somebody saying, why haven't you killed yourself yet? You need to do this. Have you read those texts?
I have, and I get it.
They are fucking horrible. This is not just...
But he could also...
Okay,
all right.
These are not just somebody telling a feminist, kill yourself. This is somebody actually inciting this behavior. This is no different. We talked about this on Twitter. In my mind, this is no different than what Charles Manson did. To say that the people in the Manson family, well, they could have just not done what he said. Absolutely. But he still made it happen. She made this happen. He, at one point, got out of the truck. She talked him back into it. That is actual incitement. That's not just, man, kill yourself. It's actual incitement of physical harm.
I disagree, because even if somebody's talking you into it, you don't have to do it. I don't think that you can take away his ownership in this. I mean, even if you guys are on the phone with me telling me to get back into the car, there's no reason why I have to do it.
There's no reason you have to do it.
It's awful, but I don't think that she should be charged with him actually deading.
Oh, I absolutely believe she should be, because she was responsible for it.
She wasn't. He suicided. That's on him.
Okay, what about with the Manson family? Do you think Charles Manson is guilty of murder?
I think he's
he made
guilty.
That happen.
No, I think, well, no, I don't. If he didn't directly kill anybody, but of course he was involved in the conspiracy to commit murder.
How is this different? How is it any different for her to talk him into killing himself than Manson to talk those people into killing others? Is it just because he killed himself?
Like I said, with Manson, I don't think that he's guilty of directly murdering somebody because he didn't do it. He did the conspiracy to do it. But with her, I would say that abusive behavior, harassment, sure, but not the actual death part. No.
Where do you draw the line?
Where she is responsible for the sort of responsible for the death is because she didn't get help.
Okay, and I agree with you on that.
And not because of what she said.
You don't find her culpable in any way for that?
In him being in that situation?
Yeah. Her
No.
talking him back into the truck she's not responsible for that at all.
I don't think so, because he could have not gotten back into the truck.
Okay. I disagree with you on that. And this is going to be a
Because
fundamental disagreement.
I don't agree that somebody can really push you to commit suicide and that it's their fault. It's absolutely his fault that he offed himself.
Do you feel that way about the people who died at Jonestown?
What? That they offed themselves?
Was Jim Jones responsible for them dying?
No. They let him do, we talked about this when we talked about Jim Jones. They gave up their livelihoods. They went to, they went to Guyana. Now, the people that were actually shot and forcibly killed, yeah, they're not responsible because they were actually killed. But the people who willingly drank the Kool-Aid, that's not directly his fault.
Squeak incoming.
Squeak incoming.
Just letting you know, because I wasn't muting myself. So you don't believe it's possible for somebody to have enough control over another person to force them to do things?
Unless you have a gun to their head, no. Or there's some kind of threat, an actual threat, then no.
You don't believe in brainwashing?
It happens, but
No,
at the same time,
I'm not. This is not a gotcha. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely curious. I'm not trying to get gotcha.
No, of course there's brainwashing, but usually with brainwashing, there's also something else that goes with it, like some sort of physical torture, deprivation of food, of water, again, physical torture, that kind of thing. That usually comes with the territory, and there's actual crimes being committed there. But if somebody is, we're talking about somebody just talking to you.
Jordan says, charge her with Kevorkian laws, not manslaughter.
Assisted suicide? With the assisted suicide thing, Kevorkian had a much more role in it. He actually brought the means of death to them. So maybe, but yeah, I'm fine with manslaughter. And this is a fundamental disagreement on.
Well, my thing is just, if it's just words and there's no real manipulation going on, where somebody's actually being threatened, where you're actually withholding food or water or torturing somebody, then it's just words. I mean, there is never a point where words stop being words.
There is. I've told this story before about when I worked at Walmart and people would come in with the Nigerian scams and they would get incredibly pissed off at us because we would not send money for them. And it's because people can quite easily be manipulated. And in this case, this is a broken kid who is already contemplating suicide.
No, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so to challenge SDA slightly. First, Sanguine, thank you. Not always, sometimes it is just a dependent personality, which is like streamlined brainwashing on easy mode. 90s action movie. Okay. If SDA, if I am calling a person with Alzheimer's on the phone and I talk them into believing that I'm their son and they need to wire me money. Am I guilty of theft?
In her defense, I think there it would be the Alzheimer's is the
But suicidal depression.
and that's where I am. That's where I see the similarity to that kind of thing.
That's why I was asking SDA. It's like, I mean, so someone has a condition. I mean, I'm effectively conspiring with their mental weakness to make them do something that is against their own interests. Am I guilty of a crime for having taken advantage of their mental or emotional defect?
Well, if you lie to somebody, then you're guilty of fraud.
Yes, but I'm guilty of a crime, aren't I?
Well, you're guilty of fraud, but you're not guilty. But it's different.
Let's see. Laura Bones, thank you. Can I request a super glue ad? Oh, yes, you can, Laura. I'll work on that. Okay, I did my bit. I'll let you guys talk, and I'll work on it.
No, I'm done with my part of it. And what I was saying, I think this comes down just to a fundamental disagreement here. We're not going to convince the other because we see it from different angles.
Mm-hmm.
But I do enjoy the challenge of arguing. So I don't want to turn this into more than it needs to be. If she has more to say, I'm happy to listen, but it's I wanted to make.
Well, like I said, I just want to be clear because I don't know if just from reading some of chat, I think this might not be clear. I do think that she should have been charged again for not reporting it because obviously if you know that somebody's about to die and you don't report it, then that's what you're responsible for. But I don't personally consider being depressed a mental disability, which is what you would have to argue in order for that to work, like with the Alzheimer's. If somebody's like retarded, literally retarded, then yeah, you're manipulating somebody who does not have the power to say no or might not know to say no. Whereas with somebody with depression, I mean, I just don't think that it's a mental disability. And, if you want to remove yourself from that situation, unless there's some sort of physical threat to him where she was going to like try to kill him or harm him and he knew about that if he tried to leave her, without that, then it's still just words.
Falcon says, SDA, when you've been brainwashed, it can be subtle and you don't know that it has happened until you get pulled out and then you feel broken.
I understand that, but what happened, it's interesting because this is an audience who, if I were to say fuck your feelings, they would be totally into it. But in this case, not fuck your feelings. I mean, I'm just like, my stance on this is very much in the sticks and stones. And I get that depression is a mental illness, but it doesn't take away your ability to think. And you still have ownership. You're not disabled.
And that's where we disagree. We do both agree on the main charge of her not reporting this.
Yeah, we do. So somebody asked, do you think she should be charged with negligent homicide? I would absolutely agree with that because she, did not report it. And that's where my issue is, because that is where she's compliant in his death. And like I said, if we're going to maintain that words are just words, then I think that it's important to like maintain that. But
I do believe words are just words, but I also believe that once it becomes an incitement of violence, whether it's against other people or when somebody says kill yourself to a feminist, they're not actually telling them to go kill themselves. What she did went so much further beyond that. Reading that conversation was fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I don't disagree with that at all.
Mm-hmm. And it was pure emotional manipulation. And yeah, fuck that bitch. I hope she goes to jail for a long, long time.
Yeah, and for the abuse, yes, that's fine. I agree with that. But just for the actual deading, I don't think that's honestly, we sort of disagree on semantics because we both agree that she should be in prison.
But it's
the semantics of it that leaves that the precedent, I think, And I think that's where we're disagreeing.
Yeah, I think the whole slippery slope thing is very important because it's not just you started with a feminist. If somebody tells him to kill himself, that's just not what this was.
But it
And
could absolutely, if I were a lawyer and a feminist were to come to me, I would go that route. I would absolutely use this.
And I think you'd get laughed out of court because this is a very specific case with very specific wording that was used throughout. I mean, she didn't just tell him to kill himself. She was encouraging him to do it the way he was doing it. I mean, get back in the truck. I mean, this isn't just a random KYS. This was get back in the truck and die already. Why aren't you dead? And
I agree. It's not nice, but at the same time, he doesn't have to. And I know people in chat are like, "I'm depressed." I get it. Okay, I've been on medication for depression. I officially diagnosed with bipolar and major depressive disorder. Okay, like I get it. I've been there. But at the same time, to get over any of that, you have to take ownership over that kind of stuff. And I don't think that somebody who has depression or is suicidal is completely devoid of any responsibility for the fact that he got back in the truck. Because there's an end button or there's an off button on your phone, and ta-da, she's not there.
I'm not saying he doesn't hold any responsibility, but again, to the point of the Manson family, the people who killed absolutely were still guilty of murder, but Charlie put him up to it. Charlie was the mastermind behind it.
Yeah.
So
like I said, that's conspiracy.
It's causing violence. It's not just words at that point. That's all. That's all.
No, it's okay.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. MSS News?
This episode is brought to you by Laura Bones Superglue. Did you drop your favorite vase? Need to prank your roommate by sealing their butt to the toilet seat? Has your psyche been fractured due to brainwashing? Try Laura Bones Superglue. It brings people and things together forever.
You went with gluing people's asses to toilet seats. That's why I love you.
Yeah. I'm still struggling with the 90s action movie trailer. I might have actually I think I might have used the 90s tropes in the 80s action movie trailer. And so now I feel like I'm being repetitive. I started out with like in a world, and I didn't know like how do I follow that up? And now it's like, they thought they had killed him, but now they pushed him too far, or something like that. And I'm struggling with that. I need an idea. I need a plot. I need a title for the movie. I came up with Moon Poon before I came up with all the rest of the other stuff. So
right.
Let's see. I'll have to think about that. Speed 3. I think there was a Speed 3.
Was there really?
I think so. I think let's see. Speed 1 was on the bus. Speed 2 was on the boat. Was there a Speed 3? I thought there was. Yeah, Speed 3.
Sanguine, thank you.
Bad. Oh, what happened with Sanguine? Sanguine, oh, thank you. Wait, so are you for the charge negligent homicide but against the charge of involuntary manslaughter despite the former being included in the category of the latter? Time period piece.
Okay. Well, I'll just answer the question real quick while you think about that.
Sure.
My problem is not with the fact that she was convicted. My problem is with necessarily the reason why. So her being convicted because she didn't call the cops and say, "Hey, my stupid boyfriend is in a truck deading himself." That's what I think. Not doing that is what she should be charged for, not for saying, "Hey, you piece of shit, get back in the truck." While that's awful, that's not why he's dead. Why he's dead is partially because she didn't say to somebody, "Hey, he's about to dead." So it's semantics, but I think that it's important semantics.
Let's see. Give me a second here. Let's see. Say something for a second. I've almost got a script.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I was answering somebody on Twitter. I apologize. Yeah. So let's check out MSS News while he's doing that. Guys, if you have stories for us, you can hit us up with #MSS News on Twitter.
Okay, a quick ad. This broadcast is brought to you by Sanguine Time Period Pieces. Are you a woman on the go, always losing track of your monthly visitor? Use Sanguine's Time Period Pieces. It's a watch built into your pad. Clock your flow in style.
Oh, dear God. Guys, also, if you would hit the like button, that really helps us out. We'd appreciate that as well.
Time period piece. I'm a jerk.
That was awesome.
Yeah, MSS News. Let's see. Okay, MSS News survey says, what do we have? But we talked about that one.
Can I answer a question real quick?
Of course.
Yeah.
SDA, if he was considered to be retarded, would that change it? Yeah, actually, for me, it would. It's kind of the same if you're giving direction to a child. If you're giving direction to somebody who is at a clear, they're like in a very clear submissive position, and you're in a very clear authoritative position, then yeah, you have to. Then you're kind of in the responsible position because whether you're the teacher or the parent, and it's a kid, kind of like. When people say, oh, well, the 11-year-old wanted to suck my dick, you say, well, it's your job to go, no. That's the same perspective that I would take with that.
I do want to say, I absolutely understand your perspective on this because I'm one of those people who believes in absolute free speech unless it's direct violence. Like fire in a theater. The people who are running like jackasses instead of getting up in a orderly fashion, I blame them for any stampede that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I get where you're coming from. I just think in this instance, it's different than you've seen it. I see it different than you do.
Yeah, that's okay.
Thank you, Falcon. The glare, oh God. The glare product exploding mic. What?
I don't know.
I don't know what that means. You're gonna have to elaborate, Falcon. I'm not quite sure I understood that one. Okay, so MSS News. Okay, the first story we have comes from staff reporter Colleen Bernier. Is CNN going to play a video? No. Okay, CNN. I'm trusting you. Which is a bad idea. Texas police seize 600 pounds of meth-laced lollipops. Police investigating a reported burglary have seized almost $1 million worth of methamphetamine-laced lollipops. 600 pounds of the homemade candy drug mixture melted into various shapes, including Batman and Star Wars figures, were discovered in a Houston home. Police said the drugs had a street value of almost $1 million. A concerned neighbor called police Monday to report that a house was being burglarized. When officers arrived on the scene, they discovered a male and female removing the lollipops from the home. Quote, they had so many narcotics in their vehicle they couldn't close the back hatch of their car.
Jesus Christ.
What scares me more is the possibility that someone could mistake that for children's candy and give it to a kid. Okay, that's gross and disgusting.
Yeah, it's a good way to kill a kid.
Sanguine, I have to meth pops. Okay. Are you guys drunk?
Don't be saying I have to meth pops.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Is that
You're welcome. I'm helpful.
Yeah, two different things there.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Because between Falcon and Sanguine, I was like, I'm not quite sure I understand.
Falcon said a minute ago.
Thought she gave you a glare. Oh. Do I need to make SDA the center of attention again on the stream?
No.
Oh, I don't even have that up. Is she glaring at people?
I'm not.
I can't tell. I'm paying attention to the news and doing my job.
You would know if I was glaring at you, Scribe. You'd feel it in the force.
I feel. Oh, you mean the number one black character in Star Wars?
Black
Yeah, you
character.
would. You would feel it in the blackies.
Oh God!
In the blackies. Oh my
Yes.
God.
Demonetized left, right.
Next time, don't set it up, okay? Okay.
Okay. Moving on. Okay, this also comes from staff reporter Colleen Bernier. Florida baseball team to hand out free pregnancy tests for Father's Day.
For real?
Boy, oh man, this is right up there with Hourglass Appreciation Night we talked about like a while back.
That one I kind of liked.
Well, yeah, because it deals with the feminine figure. A
Indeed.
minor league baseball team in Florida is planning on giving out pregnancy tests during a game on Thursday as part of a unique Father's Day promotion. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp have added a second promotion to the usual Thirsty Thursday celebration. The team is calling it the You Might Be a Father promotion, which comes with a free pregnancy test. Quote, so you'll know if you need to return for Sunday's Father's Day game, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp's website said. It will be an evening filled with suspense, intrigue, and manila envelopes. That's great. Now, how quickly is this going to turn into somebody's offense party, I wonder?
Yeah.
There's nothing in here so far about it, but I give it short.
Somebody's going to get one of those tests as a joke, take it to their girlfriend, and have their fucking whole life ruined.
Right. Well, they'll just find out earlier than they would have otherwise. Let's see. This isn't exactly a funny story, but this comes from Scotch, and this was something that Irate Bear and others were holding helping hold a charity stream for a couple hours ago. This deals with the tower fire in London. And by the way, the charity stream, last I saw it, had of a £2 million goal. It had brought in £1.2 million when I saw it last. It might be much higher now. Grenfell Tower residents said they had warned about fire hazards for years before their London public housing project became a 24-story cinder. On Friday, they stormed the local government council, accusing officials first of ignoring them and then of leaving them without financial assistance and lodging or even a rough accounting of their missing loved ones. With scores of residents still unaccounted for since the early Wednesday fire, frustrated survivors demanded from government officials help and a roster, or at least the number, of tower residents. Prime Minister Theresa May and Mayor Sadiq Khan were heckled on separate visits with survivors. The Queen and Prince William, upon leaving a relief center for the victims, were subjected to calls of, "What about the children?" Okay. The authorities confirmed on Friday that at least 30 people had died and estimated that the final toll would be more than 70 killed in an inferno so intense that the remains of many of the victims will be unidentifiable. And already the fire at the Grenfell Tower housing project, its scorched shell looming above one of London's most upscale neighborhoods, has become a grim symbol of class inequality in a city that has long been a magnet for global wealth. I read somewhere that there wasn't even a sprinkler system in the building at all.
Right.
Which boggles my mind. I mean, setting aside whatever else might be going on there, there's never been a sprinkler system in that building the entire time it's existed. That's insane to me. After revelations that corner cutting by government officials and building contractors alike may have played a role in the deadly fire, resentment played out in public. Mrs. May, already weakened by her failure to win a majority in this month's elections, has called for a public inquiry into the causes of the fire, but her public reaction has been criticized as halting and unempathetic, especially her initial failure to meet with victims' families. That's the bulk of the story. They talk a lot about the events and the timetable and everything else.
Yeah, just a horrible tragedy there.
Yeah.
The people have been complaining about the building for some time.
Yeah. I'll find that link to that fundraiser and put it in the description and the chat when I I posted it a little while ago. Maybe I can find it real quick before I forget about it, and the sooner the better. There it is. Okay, let me get that real quick and put that up in case anybody wants to donate. They're currently, they just crested over 1.2 million pounds. So I'll put that here in the chat, and I will add it to the description here in a moment.
Okay.
All right. You want to look for another MSS news story?
We're kind of late. If you want to do
Oh,
one
that's
more,
true.
sure.
That's true. 1 second here.
Um,
Well, then we can move on to the subject matter, I guess. I kind of implied in the title for the stream.
sure.
Let's see.
Do we want to do that first, or do we
YouTube
want to
stuff
hit
first?
YouTube first?
Oh, yes, YouTube stuff. You guys talk about the video YouTube put out today.
Okay, first I want to say SDA and I did not coordinate this at all. The only communication we had is she sent me a message asking me if I had said go fuck yourself in any of my videos. To which I said, I'm sure I have, but I couldn't tell you which ones. So I recorded that for her real quick. Other than that, we did not know each other were doing Riley videos. I did not. She apparently texted it yesterday, or not
Yeah,
texted, tweeted it.
I tweeted it yesterday morning, so I didn't
But
copy him.
I
He
didn't
just
see it.
doesn't have to like make himself pretty before videos. So
Hey, baby.
So yeah, I was saying hi to Lady Monkey. She just came downstairs. Looking all pretty. Looking good enough to eat.
Oh, my God.
Although I'd fuck that up.
Whoa. Well, I'm glad you shut that door before I could walk through it.
Yeah, I'm smarter than I look. But yeah. So SDA and I both did Riley videos today. You want to talk about your video, SDA?
So Riley put up a video where I think that was supposed to be comedy, but he's not very good at it. So basically his thing was like how to be a politically correct bigot, because apparently bigots really care about being politically correct. And he was pretty much like, you know, if you are against legal immigration, you hate the Mexicans. If you don't want to date a trans person, then you hate trans people. What else was it? It's just shit like that, pretty much. Oh, and then he pretty much like sort of talked about roaming millennial talking to Richard Spencer. And I don't think you said roaming millennial specifically, but I brought up the point that the only reason why roaming hasn't talked to a bunch of leftists is because leftists won't fucking talk to us. So
yeah, he made the point in his video that all you have to do is say you're for free speech, because people love that shit. But it empowers the alt-right. And the reason it empowers the alt-right is because the left are too pussyfied to actually talk.
yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no, like, roaming would gladly interview you, but you won't do it. So the only thing we're left with is Richard Spencer.
Yeah.
Because he'll talk to us. So it's not about being a fake centrist or not wanting to hear the left out. It's that in order to get you guys to talk to us, we have to have a one-way conversation with a video you make.
Yeah,
So.
he also, for the record, guys, SDA does not hate Bering.
Oh, yeah. So Riley said stuff about a harassment campaign, and I mentioned at the end of it, I was like, oh, he's talking about that douchebag Bering or something like that. And a couple of people were like, oh my God, you hate Bering? And I'm like, no, it's just that Bering has been in a 8-month-long like pissing contest with Christy and friends over whether or not he's a harassing piece of shit. So that's why that was a joke. I'm sorry if that wasn't clear, but
the pissed off Shih Tzu, thank you so much. Donation there. Yeah, I knew you were joking, but I can definitely see where people might have missed that.
yeah, I'm sorry if you missed that.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole video, this is how I knew I've been spending too much time with you, because while we did not coordinate this at all, we both opened up with Riley Dennis is trying to be funny or something similar to that.
Yeah, I know. I heard that and I was like, we've been spending too much time together. Oh, another thing that's on my Ice Cube Bill Maher N-word video. There are people arguing about whether or not I'm white. Because somebody was like,
what?
You white ass piece of shit, and someone was like, I don't know, I don't think she's like, I think she's like part white, but I don't think she's like totally white, so like she might not be white. And then the other person was like, well, if she is white, and then they're like, yeah, but I don't know. And so they're trying to figure out whether or not they can be mad at me because they don't know if I'm totally white or not. So I thought that was kind
Okay.
of funny and worth sharing.
Everybody go to her Bill Maher video and tell everyone that she's Puerto Rican. We'll make you Puerto Rican.
I can pass for like not white-ish.
Not white-ish. But yeah, Riley's video was fucking stupid. Me and you hit a lot of the same points, but there is enough difference that you guys should watch both of them.
And Jinx is in mine, so.
Yes, Jinx is in hers. You also get to see her roll her eyes at Riley pretty hard, which was funny as shit. Scribbles,
Yes.
you didn't make a video today.
No, I wrote a script for a video. I did not make a video today, although I'm
Ooh,
technically making one right now. Well, I found a short little video talking about diversity in tech. And I don't want to give too much away. It's relatively short. I think it'll probably be a video that's probably less than 10 minutes overall. But it caught my attention because within the first 15 seconds, the speaker completely contradicts and confuses their message about what diversity means in tech. And
Nice.
and then I just followed it along, and the entire video, the entire script is just me going, restating what the person has said and saying, got it, as I usually do. And then when they contradict themselves, I refine reality based on what they've said and then say, got it again as we proceed throughout their points down the line. It'll be a pretty quick project. I'll probably have it out tomorrow. But I do have an ad, the 90s action movie.
Oh, cool.
The problem is I don't quite have a title for it, which is the bad part. Because it doesn't work unless you've got a title for the movie. I've got everything to lead up to it, and then I have to, say the title.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think here. What can I
just need a few more minutes?
Well, I'll tell you what. Just because I'm curious, I'll read the description, and then chat. I'll be curious to see your ideas on what the title should be, because
all right,
I
guys,
think that'll be more entertaining.
Here we go.
All right. They beat him unconscious. They kidnapped his granddaughter. They messed with the wrong monkey. The grand monkey has been kidnapped by evil vegans planning on using her DNA to create their man-cow god. Now, armed with WD-40 and cigarettes, the ranting monkey is on a mission of vengeance. And now I need a title.
I feel like ranting monkey would be perfect.
It's kind of pedestrian, don't you think?
I mean, like, my first thought was Vacant, because it's like Taken, but with vegans.
Vegan Steven. I don't know. No. Monkey's Day Out. Okay. Man, Bear, Pig. He got Taken 12.
Taken 12.
Moon Pun 2, The Takening. Blazing Bullets, Jungle Adventure. Raging Monkey, Who Flung Poo. Monkey Kills Vegans, Ranting Monkey's Revenge. How about Got It? Monkey Business. Vegan Gains is planning to do what? Yeah, exactly. Got It. Yeah, I should just do a movie called Got It. Actually, that sounds like some kind of noir flick. I'll probably save that for some other time. Vegans got beef with monkey. All right. Well, I'll keep an eye on that, and any funny ones I'll keep going. But yeah, so that's my YouTube project upcoming. Probably have that out tomorrow unless something distracts me or something.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Well, are you guys having any other projects you're working on now or for the near future?
I'm not in the name of the movie, Your Life Makes Me Sad.
Oh,
well
no.
Blood.
Oh, no. How about your Life Makes Me Mad or something?
Oh, there you go. No, I don't have anything on my agenda. We'll see what happens.
Scribe noir movie. Are you a racist? Jesus. Yes, I'm totally. Thank you, Point, very much.
Monkey and the Vegan Beef.
No.
You guys came up with some good ones. You guys are really awesome.
Death Wish, that's XX1X, yeah.
Salad overload. The monkey strikes back.
Ranting Monkey meets the vegans. Monkey and the Vegan Queef. Film noir is now known as Film Kangs and shit. Jesus. All right. So the title of the stream comes partially from the fact that there's a story that came out today that for Shark Week, Michael Phelps will be racing a great white shark.
That's
and of course,
stupid.
Michael Phelps, Michael Phelpsing the smush cookie came to mind. But the phrase "jump the shark." Now, I assume that both of you know what that means.
Yes, I've actually seen the episode.
Aha, SDA. Do you know what it means and the origin of it?
I know what it means.
Okay, so for those that do not know, Jump the Shark is a sort of American industry, entertainment, or in societal colloquialism, referring to an episode of Happy Days, a show that had gone on for like 5 or 6 seasons at that point or something. And in a particular episode late into the show's lifespan, the family and the Fonz, the greaser biker from quote unquote the 50s, ended up in Hawaii and on water skis, very awkwardly jumping a ramp over a shark as part of the show's climax or something. And it was such a lame, cheap attempt at sort of drama in a show that had obviously run its course, but just didn't know it yet. The phrase "jump the shark" was coined to sort of refer to something that had outlived its lifespan. What?
Real quick, the Jack Cochran pointed this out because this is actually very, to picture it, you have to see the whole scene.
Oh, in a leather jacket, yes.
Fonz was wearing his leather jacket while he was water skiing.
Yes, it's dumb.
To jump the shark.
To jump the shark.
Yeah.
So that being the case, I was curious, just as a sort of thought project for the both of you, knowing what that phrase means. What is something in our, I don't know, society, movies, TV, whatever, what's something that in your opinion has jumped the shark and needs to just stop?
Oh, wow.
I know it's a broad question. I'll give you a minute to think about it because I'm throwing this on you at the last second sort of thing. It wasn't planned, so to speak, except I had it in mind. And of course, chat as well. If there are things that you feel in society have jumped the shark, by all means. Nick's Radio says Marvel Comics, Backscan says feminism. Jack Cochran says Steve Shives.
We're going to get a lot of people saying feminism. And
Yeah.
while I agree with that, it's not the same thing with the Happy Days metaphor. I mean, this was clearly, okay, the show's been on way too goddamn long. And with feminism, there are still a ton of people who love it. Personally, I think it's jumped the shark, but I've thought that for the last 20 years. Every time they doubled down.
Point Curation says Bill Maher with his apology. I would tend to agree wholeheartedly there. I talked about this when it came up last week or whatever, that he completely, essentially disavowed his credibility in that whole incident. So, Point, did
Not
you have
just his apology.
Point, did you have a product you wanted me to
go
go
ahead.
through? Just listed in the chat, but go ahead.
See, it wasn't just his apology. For me, like I said, it was I did a bad thing. If you just come out and said, I apologize if I offended anyone, I would have no problem with that. Because that's not apologizing for the speech. That's apologizing for any hurt feelings because of the speech. What he did was come out and basically say speeches can be wrong. And that was shit. And yeah, I would absolutely agree. Bill Maher jumped the shark at that point. As soon as he said, I did a bad thing. Yeah.
Point, thank you. Could you advertise critical thinking? That's going to be a serious one. I actually would. I'll put some time into that one. I think what kind of compounded it for me was his sitting there and, for the most part, not protesting anything thrown at him by his panel. Just sitting there and taking it, bowing his head, and just sort of like not even resisting, like he's a broken man at that point. I don't know that I could take him seriously on any issue in regards to free speech or really criticizing someone for something they've said at that point. Because, it's like, well, there are things that shouldn't be said, Bill. Who are you to argue with that now? So
Yeah. The Jack Cochran said teen movies where the kids are smarter than adults. I would agree with that. The whole teen, young adult novels have pretty much jumped the shark at this point. They'll come back around, but yeah, they played out the Harry Potter, Twilight, all of that shit. Yeah, it's done for a while. SDA, anything?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you okay? What's in your experience in writing and thing? What is a style or a trope that has just been done to death and has effectively become a sort of a mockery of itself from having just run on for too long?
At this point, I think vampires.
Mm.
I think just like because young adult. I think in the young adult genre, specifically dystopian type stuff, they've done it to death, and nobody's done it well, really. But I think vampires, especially because that sort of started with Twilight, and then they had a bunch of vampire shows, and a bunch of vampire books got super duper popular. And people kind of forgot to make monsters, and I think it's going to take a cool down period for it to come back and be cool again. But
how about virtual reality? They keep trying to bring that shit back.
So I haven't done anything with like the Oculus Rift or any of that other stuff. And well, I mean, not only the virtual reality, but like 3D in movies as a gimmick and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't see how taking yourself away, because when they started talking about Oculus Rift, like, oh, this is so revolutionary, everything else, like you can't play this in front of a TV with a bunch of friends. There's no, I mean, if you're doing a video, I mean, part of the allure of video games, especially console games, is that you can, do Mario Kart with your friends there in the living room, or you can sit there and watch somebody play through something. If you're standing there with a helmet over your head and you have to have 7 feet of clear space around you so you're not knocking over the vases or anything, that makes it very difficult to sort of have a communal experience with your friends, which is usually the biggest draw of like console games and that kind of thing.
Well, and VR makes me dizzy, so.
That too.
VR is interesting, but it's a novelty.
Yes, still is.
Yeah, and it's never going to be the Total Recall, which is what started the whole VR phenomenon anyway. And then it died down for a while, and then it came back because tech got better, but it's still the same fucking thing. You're still stationary. You're never going to have the 5 sensory experience that we saw in this movie. You're always going to know you're in VR. And I agree with you about not being able to play with friends. Go ahead.
I guess another thing in regards to writing is just having a really boring main character that's irritating more than anything, because I can't think of a series, or a popular series, I should say, where somebody's favorite character is the main character. Like Harry Potter, nobody's favorite character is Harry Potter because he doesn't do anything.
Right.
With Star Wars, nobody's favorite character is Luke because Luke's an idiot and he's annoying. With like the Hunger Games, nobody's favorite character is anybody because all the characters are flat and annoying. And it's just, you have all these series where nobody gives a shit about the main character because they just make the main character generic frumpy girl with brown hair who is a little bit broody, and they forget to give their main characters personality. So I wish that trend would die.
Jay Reynolds said Johnny Mnemonic started it, not Total Recall. Total Recall is the one that made it big.
Well, no, Lawnmower Man. What are you talking about? Total Recall. Lawnmower
Total Recall
Man
was the one that.
Where was
bullshit.
VR? Where was VR in Total Recall?
The whole thing was it was VR. It was a whole VR experience.
Oh, well, okay, and that card. But I'm talking about like actual functional virtual reality, like we see actually employed in real life. That Lawnmower Man did that way better than at the time, anyway. Do you remember those stations at the arcade where you had like stand on that pod thing and with that little trigger in your hand with the headset on?
Oh yeah,
It was all polygons all over. Yeah, that's what when I think VR, my first thoughts go straight to Lawnmower Man.
Oh, another thing, real quick, just writing because Scribe, you got me thinking about it. So this is your fault.
Yep.
Fucking female main characters where they just shoehorn in some sort of feminist bullshit that doesn't make any sense. Where like they'll be like in the middle of doing stuff and then the female main character has to like mentally make a point about how girls can do stuff too, and you're like, that's not important right now. You're about to fall off a cliff. So if that could stop too, that would be nice. Anyway.
Here's one for you that you may or may not agree with. If the next Star Wars movie isn't absolutely epic, Star Wars will have jumped the shark.
That's something else too, because I think most of the fans and most of people in general, the movie-going public, gave that last one mostly a pass. I think an undeserved pass, given how derivative nearly everything about it was to the original trilogy. But yeah, if the next Star Wars movie is just Empire Strikes Back Redux, yeah, it's. I mean, I might also hazard to say that it might not be the quality of the film so much as the quantity. One of the things that made Star Wars so special is that you had 3 movies, and it was decades before you had any more movies. And even though those movies sucked, they were still few and far between, and they weren't going to happen all the time. Now Disney's putting out a Star Wars movie every year, between a trilogy film or a spin-off. I think it just might, market oversaturation might force the jumping of the shark, regardless of how quality the films are, unless they're just amazing.
Well,
Laura Bones, okay, Scribe, how about incontinence pants? Oh, for God's sakes. Okay.
I would agree with you if it wasn't for one thing. Marvel movies. Marvel has been able to pull it off with a pretty full schedule.
Marvel is they're making unrisky movies, and it's going to start wearing down on people real quick. Because Guardians of the Galaxy was as safe and insulated a film as you could imagine as compared to the first one. If Marvel doesn't start taking some risks and doing something a bit more dramatic with their storytelling, I think it's just going to become, padded cotton candy real quick. Inedible trout, thank you. Stuck late at work, dropping off on a smoke break. You guys rule. Product nunchucks. Okay.
Sweet. But I think the difference is with Star Wars, one, they decided to get rid of all of the expanded universe.
Yes, that was
and whether
annoying.
they bring it back or not, that decision really meant they had to start from scratch. I understand why they wanted to appeal to nostalgia, but I think they way overdid it.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Marvel movies, they have literally decades of stories to work with. At any time, they can pull any story they want, and fans will still run out and see them because it's Spider-Man on screen. We've seen 5 Spider-Man movies, and granted, they were Sony, but any smart person would be like, I'm going to wait and see this when it's on network TV. This is Spider-Man Homecoming because I'm not falling for your shit again. But people are going to run out and watch Homecoming, especially because it's now being done by Marvel instead of Sony. Mm-hmm. I think they get a broader pass because they have a much bigger catalog to pull from. And I really think, I don't understand why Disney killed the expanded universe. I really don't.
Well, I do. It's because there was too many limiting factors, and the expanded universe had accelerated far beyond what they could do with the movies they had planned. Because in the expanded universe, the like Luke and Leia and all those guys had all of this story baggage and all of this continuity stuff that Disney would have to contend with in anything that they did. And it was so convoluted. And it was, I mean, any honest Star Wars fan, who's even a fan of the EU, will admit the expanded universe was convoluted, contradictory, and a big mess, depending on which author was writing which book. And so to try to incorporate all of that backstory as preamble to whatever they wanted to do at Disney was more of a hindrance than a benefit. So I understand in a pragmatic sense why they did away with it. If it were me, I would have just done Star Wars movies set in the future or in the distant past and just got away from it. If it were me, but it's not. And they had to bank on the ability to connect the old movies with the current movies, both in narrative and characters. So that's what they went with. They have slowly incorporated bits and pieces of the EU back into continuity. So they've been doing it piecemeal, depending on what's safe or anything else, especially the Old Republic stuff and some of the things from Thrawn and all that kind of thing. So it's a mishmash. Like I said, I understand it from a practicality thing. Sentimentally speaking, I wish they had just let it alone and found a way around it. But there you go.
I really think they should have jumped back either into the Knights of the Old Republic or jump 1,000 years into the future. Let us see that. That would have been awesome.
I want them to do another thing where like there's an actual kind of like a Knights of the Old Republic thing. I don't care if they do it like before or like back then or like way in the future. Just some sort of actual established universe where there's actual like lots of Jedi. I like the setting of the prequels better than the setting of the not prequels.
See,
not that I like the prequels better, but
I like the limited Jedis. That's one of the things that I loved about the original 3. There weren't 100 people running around waving lightsabers at each other. It was a special thing. And in the prequels, even little kids had lightsabers.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of other things I think have jumped the shark, and I don't know. I'm at a loss right now.
I think Twitter might have.
Maybe.
Thunderfoot.
Why? The shark. Unfortunately, he didn't make it all the way across. I don't see many other things that are jumping out at me. Why do you say Twitter?
It's in the sense that they've started shadow banning people and policing them. The whole idea was that you're able to express yourself and like broadcast yourself to the world in the 140 characters and so on and so on. But it's just becoming, it's kind of bleeds into the whole area of the corporate platforms effectively being seen as public utilities, even though they're not. Like YouTube, like Twitter, like the internet. YouTube and Twitter and Facebook, these things are so ubiquitous now that they almost function, or at least appear to be, like public utilities. These are things that everybody sees and everybody knows about and everybody uses every day. But they're still clamped down by the fact that they are private companies, and private companies can do whatever they want. Twitter is just an example of sort of the ability to just express yourself willy-nilly. And now we've got people being shadow banned or being blocked or having their accounts thrown away because they say something that's, controversial, which Twitter was supposed to be the upstart platform for the new age kind of thing. And it just seems to me that the more that they corporatize themselves and clamp themselves down, it just becomes less of a a viable platform to do what it's supposed to do, supposedly. Point Curation, thank you again. Has entertainment itself jumped the shark? Are we still producing content with the same ideas or subjects of 100 years ago, 1,000? Sometimes it seems only the media changes. Well, I forget who it's, I think it might have been Joseph Campbell or something, but there are no stories that have been untold at this point. The window dressing, the names and the situations might change slightly, but the actual core stories have all been already known and told. There's just variants on the same thing.
And that's been that way for decades.
Decades. Well, I mean, in modern media, sure. In human history, we kind of ran out of plot lines after the Bible, pretty much. I mean, there's almost nothing inside the Bible that you couldn't take out, rearrange the names and the the locations and such, and have a quote unquote new story, but it'd just be the same core theme.
I mean, my story is pretty freaking unique. So just saying.
No, it's all been told before. It's just how it's told changes, and that's where I do think we have a problem right now with how it's being told, because media companies are playing it way too safe. I go back to Revenge of the Nerds. This is a dumb fucking movie, and I don't know anybody who's seen it who hated it. It could not be made today.
No.
It was not a big blockbuster movie, but everybody my age saw it and loved it. And Hollywood publishers, even Twitter and now YouTube, everybody's playing it so goddamn safe.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they don't understand the world we're actually living in.
Well, I think that's why you have so many, like I said, characters where you, like female characters where you have some sort of, they're in the middle of something and then they say something like ridiculous about feminism. It's out of place. Kind of like in Star Wars when they're running and Rey is like, "Stop holding my hand," and you're like, "You got shit to do. Argue later." Stupid.
Yeah. We've been out of new plot lines forever. It's just that right now everybody's too afraid to tell the same story in a new way.
Well, they're also afraid of offending people. They're also concerned about playing to the broadest audience, both domestically and internationally. It is so profit-driven that the stories themselves are taking a back seat to the marketability of the product. And I understand that is just sort of the reality of the situation sometimes. But like with Marvel, for example, at this point, they have earned so much money that they could take risks and take a loss on something just to do something new and fun.
Yeah.
And interesting, and not be harmed by it financially in any real way. Point Curation, thank you. Scribe SDA, Ranking Monkey, thanks for not playing it safe. You're entertaining as well as dedicated to the truth. Well, thank you.
If you look at some of the biggest television shows over the last decade or so, I mean, The Walking Dead, who would have thought this would be a major television show that is setting records? Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
It's a fucking show about a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Some guy, I know there's no movie producers or television producers out there listening to me, but in case they are, stop playing it so damn safe. Okay.
I've got a couple of ads I have to read here.
Sure.
I'm working on. So I got Points thing, I got Laura Bones's, and I've got an edible trout. Okay, here we go. PSA for Point. What separates us from the animals? What allows us to set aside our operating on the haziness of emotion and assess the world objectively? Critical thinking. Step away from the irrational and be more critical. This broadcast is brought to you by Pee Pants Incontinence Attire. Has your bladder gotten sadder in your old age? Pull on a pair of pee pants.
SDA's face while you were reading that one is fucking priceless.
Inedible trout nunchucks. Ever feel the need to try to show off and give yourself a concussion? Do the ball joints on your ankles need a few more bruises? Try a knittable trout a nunchucks. You'll look totally cool as you injure yourself.
Nice.
Because I used to have a pair of like homemade nunchucks somebody gave me, and that's exactly what I did as I was trying to use them. I'd always end up like hitting myself in the face, or as I was trying to do some kind of trick, I'd end up whacking myself on that little ball joint that comes out of your ankle. Owie, owie, owie. Yeah, what were we talking about?
We were jumping the shark, and
Right.
I think for that subject that we jumped the shark on that subject.
That's possibly true too. And now we're near the bottom of the hour. Do we have anything else we wanted to talk about or mention ahead of time?
Nothing that's jumping out at me, except guys, if you could hit that like button, that would help us out a lot.
We have 132 people watching now and only 88 likes. So some of y'all should just move your mouse down for a second and click that up button.
In fairness, there's one dislike, so.
Oh, now there's 2 dislikes. Oh
you
God.
bastards. You
Jeez.
Bastards. But we're up to 92 likes. So thank you guys. That really does help us out.
Yeah, that's all about the algorithm.
Scribe, Tildeer is full of shit, question mark.
Why does that have a question mark?
I think it was supposed to be a question.
Depends on what we're talking about. 103 likes. Wow, we jumped up like 20 some odd likes in like 2 seconds. Thanks, guys.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Let's see. Was there anything else? Let me look at that.
Nothing else jumping out at me.
No. Let's see. We talked about the Michelle Carter case. Let's see to make sure CNN hasn't broken some news in the last 10 minutes. Oh, well, I kind of mentioned it before. This might be the start of something or it might not. Demonstrators march in St. Paul, Minnesota after officer who shot Philandro Castile was found not guilty.
Oh.
Now, whether or not this just is a peaceful protest or turns into something worse, time will tell. It is notable, I suppose, because these things have to be stated these days, that the officer involved was Latino and not white per se, even though, depending on your demographic statistics, that might count too. But anyway.
Excuse you, it's Latinx.
Latinx, yeah, Latinx. Which is like a Mexican dominatrix.
Which is insulting to the language, you fucking assholes.
Right. Yeah, the
well,
male.
I guess the X is like supposed to just be an open space for whatever you can imagine in there.
Yeah, well, but Spanish is a
masculine
gendered language.
Yeah, it's a masculine language. Well, and you also know that the X is now the option you can put on your Oregon driver's license instead of male or female.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? Yeah, it's X. So, X going to give it to you. Yeah. I hope Medicare does a stream of the protests as he did with the previous Minnesota. Oh yeah, Mr. Medicare is he lives in Minnesota somewhere. When the Jamar, I forget what his last name was, but the Justice for Jamar protests were going on. He was live streaming that most of the time, and it was hilarious. I mean, hilarious to listen to his commentary. It was not hilarious what was going on there. Let's see. When did a cop not doing something illegal become a reason to burn shit?
Since Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're turning it over to them officially.
Yep, it's chat time. So guys, if you have any questions for us, be sure to put one or more question marks at the end of your sentence so we can spot it more easily. If you have not already, please by all means hit that like button down on the bottom of the screen there. And
in case you missed it at the top of the first hour, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies.
Yes.
Hey.
The Jack Cochran says, hope CVS paid their insurance this month.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh.
SDA, have you ever been to Australia?
Not yet. Soon, someday. Reject says, Monkey, have you watched any Oculus Rift VR play?
No.
I've watched a little bit on YouTube. Obviously you're not getting the same effect watching a video of it as you would be if you were doing it. So it's kind of just shooting gallery stuff mostly from what I've seen, or like stalking down dark hallways and being scared by things.
I want to be clear on this. There are some cool VR games, but they're still not what VR promises. There is no virtual reality. You just get to see more.
Mm-hmm.
You can turn your head and there's actually something to your left.
Yeah, and it's expensive and it requires a whole bunch of logistics that many people don't have, and it's a gimmick. And eventually, you're gonna have to take that headset off. This is why console games are far more, I think, convenient and also effective in having fun, or just computer games, just playing on your computer. Because anyway, Scribe Light. Oh, sorry, good.
Somebody asked us what happened to CVS. They kind of got torched in
that was Ferguson, I think,
Ferguson.
wasn't it? Yeah, a CVS, a pharmacy that had nothing to do with anything, got burned down as part of a protest. Yeah, protest. Scribe Light and Ranting Monkey, thoughts on the Sandy Hook families wanting to sue NBC for the Alex Jones interview?
I don't get to answer the question.
Apparently not. Quill doesn't care about you. Quill, you sexist, you.
I think suing them for that is fucking retarded. Megyn Kelly is doing a interview with Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Alex Jones has said this stupid shit before. Sue Alex if that's your problem.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Jones saying that stuff is not NBC endorsing it. And if you're going to sue someone for a conspiracy theory, on what grounds?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like saying, thou shalt not promote that the Holocaust did not happen in Germany or something, which is stupid. Mm-hmm. If Alex Jones gets on his radio show or his internet show or is interviewed and happens, I mean, I don't even know if he actually is going to talk about Sandy Hook in the interview. It's just that he's done so before. So
no, if you haven't seen clips, he talks about it.
Oh, he does talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
But even so, it's like, you can sue him for speaking his mind, even if he's stupid. Well, then are you going to sue every politician that's ever told a lie? Or are you going to sue the Westboro Baptist Church for expressing themselves? It doesn't have any merit unless you can prove harassment or something, and that's different. I don't know. Anyway, do other countries laugh at our leader? Canada, says Natalie. Yes. In fact,
Justin Trudeau.
Yeah. In fact, Fusion just put out a video today saying that Justin Trudeau should not be trusted. And I'm thinking, gosh, they're eating themselves already. Adam R., great show. What do you think about replacing swastikas with iron crosses in the new Call of Duty game, Apples? Iron crosses allows them to sell the game in Europe and Germany specifically because swastika iconography is banned there. And so it's just it's simpler for them to market it without the swastikas involved.
Is it set in World War II?
Yes.
I would think so. I would hope so. Okay. Otherwise of course, Wolfenstein, the new Colossus isn't, but it's an alternate universe. Apples.
I think it's ridiculous that they have to do that, but Scribe's absolutely right about why they have to.
Yeah.
So is it the same in the American version, or they just change everything?
No, they'll do it the same in the American version. It's just easier. There used to be a time when game companies would separate that, but there's no real reason to. Let's see.
Oh, Jack Cochran, what is wrong with you?
What do you do?
What happened?
Does Riley's girlfriend rub her snoochadoodle on his Adam's apple for pleasure?
Oh, God. Okay, let me do this one quick. Adam R. Apples. For the cheapest Halloween treats you can find to hide razors in, use Adam R. Apples.
Well done. Polydub asks all three of us, does perfectionism editing your videos slow you down?
God, I fucking hate editing.
I love editing. I like getting that perfect cut.
Yeah.
There's times like doing a Riley video, you're just not going to fucking get it. And so I don't even try on his.
I don't either.
In most cases, especially using a program like Premiere, it is so easy to get that precise cut. It's not an issue.
Yeah. Sony Vegas. Well, I guess it's not Sony Vegas anymore. But anyway, Vegas 14. Yeah, I can zero in right at the instance of a break in the video or right when I want to get in between one statement to the next so easily. The editing part, yeah, that's the most fun and feels the most productive. The part I hate the most is actually recording the audio, getting it to sound right, editing the audio, like taking out all the errors and stuff, and just getting that done, because I'm rarely ever satisfied with either how my voice sounds, how many pauses I take, background noise, and even after I've processed it, it sounds good to me when I finally save it out. But when I finally listen to the video after I've uploaded to YouTube, I think, God, why does it sound so lousy here when it sounded so crisp on my computer? I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know why it is that I can't get it to sound right.
I fucking hate editing. I like talking. I don't like editing.
Yeah, that's why you do those face cam videos, because then there's not a whole lot to.
No, it's so much worse now. It was so much easier because before I just recorded everything. I made the cut in the video, that I put the fucking flag in, I said some shit, and then that was that. Now I actually have to like write down timestamps and then like stitch it all together after.
Oh no.
It's the worst.
It sounds horrible.
It is horrible.
You poor thing.
Yeah, but despite all the frustrations, though, I will say that even after all the sound and the editing and everything else, when I finally post the thing, there is a great deal of satisfaction that this is a thing that did not exist in the world until I did it, and it took me a long time to do it, and my efforts are here for all to see. So that is the satisfying part, even after all the other frustrations.
Your boy Pat asked, do you think the day of the extremists and celebrities will ever be held responsible for the actions and propaganda they spew? I don't necessarily think they should be held responsible for the stupid shit they say. I think, like, if you look at the Berkeley riots when Milo was there, I don't think even the professors who encouraged that shit should be necessarily held responsible. I think the people who did the violence should be.
Well, let's be honest here. People who say things are held responsible all the time.
Sure.
So you think that only people who do violence should be held responsible and not the people that encourage it?
No. Hold on a second here. So if Bill O'Reilly advocates that Tiller the baby killer is an evil person, he gets pilloried, and he did after the guy got assassinated. Milo, talking about young boys and everything else, however you want to take that context, he was held accountable for what he says. The court of public opinion always holds people account for what they say if it becomes fashionable to do so. Now, that's not a legal accountability, but it is accountability in some fashion.
Now, to address the smart-ass remark from the youngin over there, if any of them actually advocated violence, then yes, absolutely, they should be held responsible legally.
Yes.
Shithead. Little smart ass.
Poo-poo head.
Poo-poo head.
Thoughts on this headline? Prosecutors say up to 100 girls victims of genital mutilation in Detroit area clinic. I think, did we talk about this a couple weeks ago? Is this the same thing?
Well, there was a story about like a couple who were being prosecuted for doing that operation, but I don't think this is the same story. I can double check, but
well, if it's happening more than once, then that's absolutely fucked up. Because I mean, like, I know that people have a problem with circumcision, and that's fine. I don't necessarily disagree with people who have a problem with it. But female genital mutilation is on a whole different level.
Yeah, this is the same couple they were talking about back in April. Yeah, that's all. But they just clarified that up to 100 girls could have undergone the procedures.
That's fucked up. That is so fucked up. Because like with the girls, they actually screw with your bits. And it's like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So.
Monkey, have the ads come back a little this month? Yeah, revenue's about a third of what it used to be. I know we had more questions here. I'm scrolling back. Sorry. That's my scrolling back music. Scribe, should Black Lives Matter get arrested if they riot for doing the shit they do?
Well, I think the people who riot should be prosecuted, yeah. Black Lives Matter. I mean, that question's actually going on right now in Louisiana, where someone's attempting to sue Black Lives Matter as a organization, quote unquote, for a police officer for being assaulted at a protest, I believe, last year or the year before, because of what's that guy's name? Alton Sterling, during the Alton Sterling protest after his death. A police officer was assaulted by members of Black Lives Matter, so he's attempting to sue the organization and D. Ray McKesson in particular. So whether or not Black Lives Matter, which is a nebulous, unofficial movement, can actually be sued, I would be surprised if they can be, because short of them being an actual nonprofit or some other kind of official organization, there's no entity, corporate or otherwise, to actually file a claim against. Individual people who do things, maybe their property damage or assault, should certainly be prosecuted. I don't think you could then also include Black Lives Matter as an organization to criminalize them necessarily. But yeah, it's a tough one, because like I say, it's not like they're working for a church or some kind of incorporated entity. I don't think that necessarily gives the movement a pass to promote or promulgate activities or actions that tend to be violent or violate other people's rights. But in the legal sense, I don't know if you can.
Backscan says, and then asks, I don't understand why people willingly go to North Korea. What would it take to get
stupid?
Yeah, we talked about this the other day. Well, some people go there for religious reasons because they're trying to like be a missionary or something, or try to do humanitarian work. Some people go there for novelty, and some people are reporters. Some people are just plain dumb overall, which is what most people are.
There's a question that goes with it. What would it take to get you to go there for 1 week?
Nothing.
What would it take?
There is nothing that could make me go to North Korea.
A Navy SEAL escort.
No.
I would go with that.
I would go with Dennis Rodman.
I would go if North Korea wasn't North Korea anymore.
Yeah.
Like a Navy SEAL hooker?
No, not a Navy SEAL hooker. What are you on back there?
What is she on? Oh, God.
Hi, Lady
I
Monkey.
said Navy SEAL. SDA says hi.
Hello.
Let's see. Your boy Pat says, because once they start holding people responsible for their actions, this craziness will die down some. It won't completely, but they'll finally realize. Yeah, I mean, is it ever really the case that after a riot, people end up being identified and prosecuted? I don't even know, because it seems like in the riots, and maybe it has happened, but it seems like they just sort of like riot, a bunch of shit happens, even though it's on film, no one ever actually gets prosecuted for it.
Well, they got the teacher that did the lock thing.
This is true. That was caught on film and everything. But I mean, was anybody ever prosecuted for the Ferguson riots?
I don't believe so. And if they were, it was for minor violations.
Yeah.
Somebody
Somebody committed arson. Let's just put it there. Somebody committed a large scale arson, and as far as I know, no one ever had to be held to account for that.
What do you all think of the state of Illinois filing for bankruptcy? I didn't realize they were. That's not a good sign.
A state filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah. But it gives Puerto Rico hope.
Black Lives Matter members are cop killers. They should not be around. Don't put question marks at things that aren't fucking questions.
Let's see. Could Illinois be the first state to file for bankruptcy? Could they? A financial crunch is spiraling into a serious problem for Illinois lawmakers, prompting some observers to wonder if the state might make history by becoming the first to go bankrupt. At the moment, it's almost impossible for a state to file for bankruptcy protection, which is only afforded to counties and municipalities like Detroit. So it's still a question up in the air. It's possible. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I think it would be a horrible precedent. Did any of you watch the E3 presentations, and how disappointed were you? I watched very little of it.
I watched a little bit of Mr. Mediker's coverage of the different streams and things. I was kind of disappointed that Bethesda didn't put something else out there. I was hoping for an Elder Scrolls sequel or something, but I mean, the Wolfenstein thing looks pretty cool, I guess. I'm still not sure about the trailer though, and how they gave BJ a far more Midwestern twang than he had in the last game. So
I missed some of the stream. I ran to the supermarket. Did y'all talk about the USS Fitzgerald?
no.
What's going on with it? I don't know.
Oh, is that the one that had the crash in Japan or whatever? Yeah, so 7 U.S. sailors unaccounted for after Navy destroyer collides with ship off Japan. 7 U.S. sailors are unaccounted for after a Navy destroyer collided with a merchant ship southwest of Yokosuka, Japan, early Saturday local time. The USS Fitzgerald, a 500-foot destroyer, collided with a Philippine container vessel at approximately 2:30 in the morning. The ship, which had experienced some flooding after the collision, and the Japanese Coast Guard were searching for the 7 missing sailors. I don't know how you miss each other. I mean, especially how do you hit each other in this day and age with the kind of equipment they had to have on board an American military vessel? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane, and I hope they find him alive. But if they haven't by now, that's not a good sign. But yeah, Jesus fuck, how the hell do you hit another ship at sea in this day and age?
Tanker. I mean, if this was like some 2-bit couple of fishing ships or something, sure, okay. But I mean, a Navy destroyer that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Somebody was drunk at the wheel, or Scribe Light, this comes from Bloodwing. I have been watching a little Supergirl, other than it being a bit social justice-y and her being a Boy Scout, as Superman has always been. Mm-hmm. What do you think of it?
First season of Supergirl is, if you accept the camp value of it, it is entertaining, and some of the characters in there can grow on you. And yes, you have to accept a certain level of girl power with 3 or 4 R's in there, girl power. But it's not so heavy-handed, and there are moments at which it makes itself sort of self-conscious or self-aware. There's one point at which effectively the main cast is standing in front of what's her name's character, the lady that married Harrison Ford.
I have not seen this
Callista Flockhart. So they're standing before Callista Flockhart, and you've got the Jimmy Olsen character, who in this version is a tall, bald black man. You've got the Supergirl character. You've got a couple other people, and they're standing in front of her for something or other, and they ask her what she's thinking, and she says something like, well, aside from the fact that you all look like the very safe and culturally diverse cast of a CW show, and then they just move on from there. I mean, there are moments of just like self-awareness, that winking at the fourth wall, that help ease some of the pretentiousness of some of the things. So if you can get past all that and look at the camp of it. I do want to say, though, and I want to point this out to anybody who's watched Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, or Legends of Tomorrow. Please notice, because I have noticed this with some fervor over time now, every jail cell or holding cell or whatever in these shows, when they have to like put a bad guy in the holding box or whatever, none of these jail cells have toilets. They just put them in this room and lock them up. So there, as far as I can tell, toilets do not exist in these universes, because every time they put somebody in one of the holding cells, there's nowhere for them to go to the bathroom or even like wash their hands or anything. So every time that they do that, and I see one of those guys in there, I go, could I have a toilet, please? I just kind of say to the ether, because they never do.
Polydub asks, if people cannot explain in general terms how the Electoral College works, should they shut up with complaints about it? Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, complaining about something you know nothing about, there you go.
And far too many people do that.
Yeah.
Should SDA wear a bow with pink polka dots
in her hair? What, like Lady Monkey?
I'm guessing. Yes. My
Yeah,
answer is
yeah,
yes.
yeah. The simple answer is yes. I should probably make her the center of attention for a couple minutes, huh?
Yes. you should. There she is.
There she is
Stop.
in all her grinning glory.
Did anybody remember to
She's
say
giving
you
me the
sank
death
my
glare.
battleship?
Oh no! Too soon. Too soon.
Wait,
Well,
what was the question?
It was from the Jack Cochran. Did anybody remember to say you sank my battleship? And then he asked, too soon.
Yeah. Too soon.
I don't think it's too soon. I think it's funny as shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it didn't sink, but all the same.
I still want to know how
people want me to wear a bow. I'll do it. I don't have anything against bows.
You'll wear a bow for people, but you won't do the Leia hair for me.
I like bows. I like pink.
Oh, you see now, if I were you, I would have set like some kind of donation bounty.
Oh,
that.
okay. If next time we're on my channel, somebody does like a $50 donation, then the next time we're on Scribe's channel, I'll wear a bow.
Oh,
there we go. SDA, what are you munching on?
What?
human.
Somebody asked what
souls.
you're munching on.
I'm not munching on anything.
She's not eating anything, guys. That's not a real question.
Getting close to last call, guys. So if you have anything you'd like us to answer or talk about, now's the time.
Bloodwing agrees with your assessment of Supergirl.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Yeah, I'm currently in the middle of Arrow season 5 right now, and I got to say it is the weakest of all the Arrow seasons thus far. It is incoherent in places and annoying, and some of the characters I wish would just be thrown into the sun. But Supergirl's on a different show, so. What do you think about Irate Bear losing his shit about Miss Misa, Copper Cab, and Karn? I don't even know what this is.
Cameron.
Cam.
It's short for Cameron.
I don't know what happened.
What?
I don't know all the details about what happened there.
Is this YouTube drama? We should wait until we get more information.
This is YouTube drama. There was a stream the other day. It was on Miss Misa's channel for her 8,000 subscribers. Something happened with, I believe Cameron was on there and was being a dick to Irate Bear. And Bear had enough of the shit and left. That's about as much as I know about it.
Okay. John McNair says Arrow jumped the shark. I actually made that comment to my show watching buddy just before the stream started. I was talking about the theme I was going to put up for the title I was going to put up for the stream, and we had just watched an episode of Arrow, and I was kind of like, I think Arrow may have jumped the shark because right now it just seems really like it's all over the place. So maybe it'll redeem itself by the midway through the season, but we'll see.
Lord Bone says that.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
Cameron Bone says that Cameron called Bear a bearing clone.
Well, that's such old news. That's what?
Yeah, he gets that a lot.
Yeah, he's been getting that since I've known him, and that was like when he first started getting an audience, like last summer.
I've been called a bearing clone.
Have you?
Yeah, I was also called an undoomed clone. I've been called an armored skeptic clone and a Sargon clone.
I haven't been called a clone of anything yet, and I'm not complaining. It's just like, okay, so I guess I stand alone, but not
People
really.
have told me that they get me and that girl confused.
She has told us that before.
Yeah, I guess.
God.
Well, just sort of like if you're looking at like a small thumbnail of your face, I could see why you'd make that mistake. But other than that, if you actually look at the content, it's obviously two different people. So
I think you bitches are the same. Did I get a glare? I don't even have it up to see. Did you glare at me?
No, here, I'll make her the center of attention to find it.
No, don't do that, Scribe. What the fuck is wrong with you?
She wrinkles her nose when she yells at you like
What
that.
is wrong
Look at
with me? How much time do you have? 6 minutes to go, guys. So this is decidedly last call. Scribe is a Da Vinci clone.
Nice.
I wouldn't put Caspar David Friedrich on the same level as Da Vinci. Very good artist. I don't know that I'd put him on a Da Vinci.
I've just never understood why the whole clone thing is an insult. If you watch what I do and it makes you think of Undoomed, I'm okay with that. I have no problem.
I'll tell
Yes,
people.
communist.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, communist in space keeps wanting me to remember our
No,
debate.
yes.
Yes, I remember.
I'll be completely honest. The seed inspiration for my style, I suppose. I mean, I've made it hopefully my own thing now, but the style that I appreciated the most and had the most entertainment from were the early Hagbard Celine videos, where he would like take a video, chop it up, and comment in between, and also the series of TEDx horror show. If you go on Skeptor's channel, he's got a playlist called the TEDx Horror Show, and those early videos of his is what inspired me to do this kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't claim to be a Skeptor clone in any way, shape, or form, or a Hagbard clone. Those guys are amazing in how they break things down. But if I've copied anybody's anything, the format is about as far as I've gone. Hopefully, I've created my own voice out of it. But there you go.
Well, what I do on YouTube is literally no different than what I used to do on my blog.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is that now I am doing video rather than responding to articles. I used to take articles and cut them up and respond to each section. And I've literally been doing this for a fucking decade. So yeah, it's gonna sound kind of the same, but I'm not offended when somebody goes, oh, you're a Baron clone. Like, okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Compare me to one of my heroes. Oh God, heaven forbid.
I hope I get his numbers.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah. Kiss my ass. I don't care.
Also, guys, this is the last chance to hit that like button before everything kind of shuts down. Well, I guess it's not the last chance. You can do it later too. But we've got 129 people watching now and 116 likes and 3 dislikes. So if a few of you have not yet already hit the up button, by all means do that. That helps with the algorithm and all that fun stuff for our future popularity as a trio, a terrible trio.
Indeed. But I'm not seeing questions, so if I missed them, guys, I do apologize. I've been trying.
Scribe Light favorite hard liquor. With any consistency, probably Jack Daniels, but only because I mixed that with Coke.
First Cynic asks if my blog is still active. It's not. It's locked down tight.
Oh, how tight?
There's personal information on there, so it is locked down really tight.
Like Virgin tight?
Like Virgin overseas sewed shut tight.
Whoa, damn. Yuck. Jesus.
I'm just telling you. You can go looking for it, and you can find it, but you won't read anything on there.
Scribe Light, Ranting Monkey, Some Dumb American. Thoughts on this headline? This comes from Quill. Young mothers against rape culture asking infant sons permission to pick them up. That sounds like an Onion headline.
I saw that shit, and I don't know if it was an Onion headline or not, because it was just a Twitter picture, so I didn't see the whole thing.
That's an Onion headline, right?
I don't know if it is or not.
I would, the thing is, I would not be surprised if it wasn't at this stage.
Yeah. But if it's true, it's fucking stupid.
Well, let's see. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. Just as a programming note, tomorrow we will be on Monkey's channel.
Yes.
I believe with the rotation now, since we had to skip a day.
Assuming that there's no storm moving in.
Yes. So tentatively speaking, we will be on Monkey's channel tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. There was something else I was going to say, but I can't. Oh, yes. If you have any news stories that you'd like us to take a look at, please tweet them to us using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise we will get to all of them, but we will consider them in time and as the time allows.
Yeah, don't get offended if we don't get them to.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, there went my tongue. If we don't get to them, please don't get offended. We try. We get to as many as we can.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for all the stories you've been sending us. It really helps us out.
Yeah. Because when our brain starts shutting down, it's like, hey, we need some supplementary material. Hey, thanks, guys.
Monkey, are you going to be in Discord?
Actually, no. I'm going to be on my channel in a stream after this.
Okay.
What?
I see how it is. You're cheating on us. Okay.
If you guys want to join, it's you guys can come too. Gutenberg wanted to talk about the story with that crazy bitch.
Which one?
And the texting one.
Oh, okay.
I'll listen and
And-
I'll shit post in chat.
You can do that if you want. Anybody's welcome to come over. And I just didn't. He wanted to come on here, and I just didn't want to make this more about that than it had to be. I just wanted you and me with our little argument and move on because we had other stuff to do. So we're gonna chat that up.
Okay. Well, guys, we're at the top of the hour, and Monkey's got to go kibitz with Gutenberg, our favorite Hitler. So thank you all for coming out tonight and joining us for this very lively stream. Thank you to all the people who upvoted us. Thank you to all the donators this time around. Monkey, SDA, thank you so much for joining me. My life makes me satisfied. Totally satisfied. See you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.